No, I did that
right.
earlier.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Smokin' Patriot. I got some guests with me today. We got Maxis. We got Farvithian. We got an unknown bit of French fries right beneath me.
I don't exist.
And we got Zebulon Pike also as another guest. Welcome, my guests, and welcome everyone viewing. Today, we're just going to talk a little bit about some Star Wars. And I had an interesting theory that Revan and I have talked about multiple times of, say the T-65 X-Wing never existed. What ships would the Rebel Alliance use to compensate in certain ways? So that's what we're going to be talking about. I got a bunch of pictures here. So we're going to start with one that Favre here actually brought up. I know nothing about this actually.
I don't either. It's a fan creation.
Yeah, it's a fan creation.
There's this guy named Adam Kopp, K-O-P, and he does a bunch of Star Wars redesign shit. And he just had this one in his gallery as like a fighter. I didn't see any other information about it.
I mean, it's not a bad looking ship. It's not bad. It just, I don't. It
doesn't really look like it fits in, to be honest.
It doesn't at all. It honestly looks like if you took a Romulan fighter, I'm going to just say fighter because that looks about the size of like a large Romulan fighter, and gave it some modern military-esque designs.
It looks like a fucking Veritech.
Some ways, yes. Like maybe then if they did like a
like
next
if you've
generation.
ever seen some of the other stuff from Macross, it legit just looks like a variation of a couple of like later generation Veritechs.
That's a safe assumption. Yeah, I would agree.
The only other thing I could think of off the top of my head, because like I said, I'm not a big Rebellion guy, is the Z95 Headhunter. You're not familiar with that, are you?
No, I am. I'm just trying to say, like, well,
because if they hadn't developed the X-Wing, to me, all that would have meant is the Headhunter would have been a shoo-in because it's the predecessor to the damn thing anyway.
Right. Well, that's the problem, actually, is because in the old EU, the Rebel Alliance actually did field the Z95. They actually did, according to the
canonically, Bosk still has a fucking Headhunter in the bay of his ship.
Right, yeah. So we know. So here are the known fighters that the Rebel Alliance has fielded over the course of its existence. We have the Z95, we have the A-Wing, the B-Wing, the Y-Wing, and then again, we're not talking about the X-Wing. So those are the known fighters that have been that have been used by the Rebel Alliance. So hail Matt G and hail Renee A. Glad you all can make it. Feel free to comment, give us your thoughts, your hate mail, whatever.
I have an idea as to what they might have done if the X-Wing was never invented.
All right.
They obviously would have bolstered their ranks with a whole bunch of Z95s.
Right.
But I would stipulate that they would have turned to the Hutts for additional fighters. And
but
the
Hutts...
problem
with that theory is, could they afford it?
Well, that's
I bet if they were buying in bulk, the Hutts would have cut them some kind of half-ass fucking deal.
Yeah, but the problem is the Hutts are still criminals, and they will the Hutts are so powerful that they even had the Empire held back.
Dude, but think of it this way. It's called war profiteering, man. You sell the Rebel Alliance a bunch of crap, you know it's going to break, you know it's screwed up, so you just sell them more crap.
Which is the one thing that I kind of agreed with. The only thing from The Last Jedi was like where you found their holopog, and one of them had a had all their First Order stuff on it, and the second one had an X-Wing, and it's like, yeah, war, profits on both sides.
Well, you also have to remember who was supplying the Hutts with the majority of their fighters.
I was.
Right.
Keep dreaming.
The majority of Hutt fighters around that time period were being supplied by Mandel Motors, so they could have even gone and just cut out the middleman there.
Yeah, considering that the Mandalorians didn't have great feelings about a lot of people.
Yeah,
And at that time, they would have definitely needed the money.
Yeah,
they weren't big fans of the Empire, and they already had. I've actually got 4 tabs open here with various ships that they had around that time frame. I mean, they would have had the Dune Lizard, the Kimagila, the Seek, and the Star Viper later on.
Okay.
And so they could have easily gone ahead and just stuck with the Z95
Now-
for filling out the ranks, and then just used more of those fighters and bombers to do specialized roles.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Now, the thing that me and CSA were actually saying to each other, well, CSA thought that, they probably used the Jedi Starfighter, which I don't agree, because you had
Where
to
the
actually...
hell would you get that many?
No, not those ones, the pointed nose.
Oh, I know what you meant, but either way, we know for a fact that the Empire scrapped most of that stuff.
Well, yeah, but...
Well, they also technically scrapped a lot of Y-Wings, but we know the Rebel Alliance was able to get
Oh,
their
yeah,
hands on a large quantity
But also
as well.
remember, they made a lot less Jedi Starfighters than Y-Wings,
Yeah,
X-Wings, or anything else.
Yeah, my theory was is that this is I don't know if this is canon, but this is a concept on a variation on a CR-90. Basically, kind of like a small hangar bay for starfighters.
Looks like a Corellian Corvette with a hangar base stuck.
That's basically what it is, yeah. And so it's a variation on the standard.
That ship looked like Optimus Prime's face.
Oh God,
we're
not. We're not going down that road. But my summation is that they would have gotten a lot of fighters from sympathizers in the Senate, who would have given them Clone War era fighters. You know, fighters like the V-wing, the ARC 170.
That's a good.
I think that would have been the main one there. That one would have.
If they could have got their hands on ARC 170s, it probably would have helped.
It would have helped, and I think that honestly, I think they could have used these even.
God, V19s.
The V19s. It's such a weird design, but I can't stop looking at it.
I mean, it just almost feels like a variation to the B-wing.
Like a predecessor in some ways. Yeah.
That looks like that you'd call that the T-wing.
You know,
yeah, maybe.
mentioning the B-wing, that actually brings up an interesting point that I think some people might overlook is if the X-Wing never happened, I would postulate the B-Wing would never happen.
That's possible, actually.
Yeah.
Think about it.
On a developmental standpoint, I mean...
They would have needed their own in-house space superiority fighter to fill the gap that the X-Wing was filling.
Yeah, but if you also remember... in the time of Rebels, they were still getting rid of the Y-Wings. They still had a shitload of Y-Wings around the place, and the Empire was starting to scrap them in the era of Rebels. But honestly, they could have gone to any scrapyard because the Empire was so slow at getting rid of stuff. Apparently, like they obliterated the cruisers straight away, but the smaller ships, you could get them anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I even got an interesting one here that should be getting a little interesting conversation.
Oh, jeez.
They could have even gotten this one.
That's
The droid, I think I agree with you. I think that they would have gotten as many droids as they could get their hands on and crapped them out.
Well, I mean, they could have gotten their hands on droid starfighters.
If they could have found like the hyena bombers or the vultures, the vulture droids, I mean, maybe you could have reprogrammed to use them like drones or something.
Well, you would have
depending if you had anybody who could actually function the tech.
Read the chat.
Background noise. I'm not hearing. Are you all hearing any kind of echo?
Occasionally, I'm hearing something in the background.
Oh yeah, that's her speaker.
My headset's on though.
Yeah, but we can still hear the background.
Can we? I don't know where it's come from. I just hear noise.
Well, it's not me. So hey, Hell Mountains, Rennie, and all the other weirdos.
Yeah.
but honestly, the Jedi ones are down, and I do honestly think that if you look at Rebels and things like that, those shows, why did they not steal more and more Imperial TIE fighters? Because where have all the TIE fighters been? And where all they got? But anyway, where are the TIE fighters? Because they did say that a crap load of pilots switched sides.
Well, the TIE fighter didn't really fit into their doctrine.
No, it didn't fit into their doctrine. But the thing is, if you're handed a fighting capable ship, even one that can do hyperdrive like a TIE fighter, are you going to turn that down?
I mean, the Z95 didn't have a hyperdrive.
I mean, plausibly, the problem with TIE fighters, however, is that takes a lot of training to use that properly. It would actually potentially be more dangerous to the rebels in the hands of pilots who weren't trained to use them.
Well, that's why I theorize that if here's a theory that I think could have happened is that if you got, however many Gazanti class cruisers with the TIE fighters that defected, you could have potentially 2 or 3 squadrons of TIE fighters, and the pilots of those TIEs would just fight for the Rebel Alliance in their TIE fighters.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because the thing is, you could fly into an Imperial zone like this, and they would never suspect a thing. And then you just do a raid, and then they latch back on and jump right out.
I have a funny thought. Imagine if the Rebellion got their hands on a starfighter, not a starfighter, like a Star Destroyer.
I doubt that would go very well.
Didn't they in Legends get their hands on like a few?
They got a hold of one that I'm aware of in the comics, and then they promptly crashed it into something because it was so damaged they couldn't use it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, what is it, like 20, 30,000 people?
The amount of people, the amount of people it takes to operate a Super Star Destroyer or a Star Destroyer standard.
Yeah.
But remember,
and the amount of training it would take to operate half the systems.
Yeah. And even if you automated, let's say you automated all guns, so that way they were controlled by droids, even hypothetically, say that takes out 5,000. You still got, 25, 30,000 people you need.
Well, the thing is, the Rebellion was so massive, there was millions of people. I'm not saying like a fleet of, I'm saying one Star Cruiser. If they had one
Star Destroyer would get singled out so quick by the Empire, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but you could, if you could keep it moving, you could use that as a mobile base.
They would hunt that thing down so quick.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, you might have had a whole lot of people in the Rebellion, but the problem is whenever you tried concentrating them, I mean, the Empire would be right on top of you. I mean, that's what happened with Hoth.
Yeah.
As soon as they found it, they were right there, and there was practically no escape.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that you got to remember, up until the Mon Calamari cruisers came into the Alliance fleet, the Alliance had no ship that could go toe-to-toe with a Star Destroyer.
Nope. And even the Mon Cal were questionable at that.
Depending on which model you were talking about. Yeah. We got a interesting...
Wow.
I'm going to have new nightmares now.
That'd be horrifying.
You know what? I think I'd get a kick out of it because the first thing the stupid thing would do is crash into a tree.
No.
Guys, imagine if they had tiny little starfighters just piloted by hundreds upon hundreds of Ewoks.
No.
They just kill themselves.
Yeah.
No. They're
like, it's time to do a suicide run.
They would kill themselves before they ever reach the target.
But like, they just drop them out, or even just to screw with the stormtroopers. They just throw buckets and bucket loads of the teddy bears out, and they're like, "Hey, where's all the baby Ewoks?" I'm sorry, what?
See, that would be a great use for the TIE fighters you were talking about, because those things don't have hyperdrives. You're not going to miss those if those go missing.
Just imagine the base head on the planet of Endor. C-3PO tells this like couple dozen Ewoks, like, okay, here's what you got to do. So you just see, like, you cut to a scene. Ewoks are climbing up it, like 2 Ewoks each per TIE fighter, and they're just like, looks like drunken pilots trying to take off.
No, dude, after a battlefield where someone slaughters all the Ewoks, all you see them is they turn around and they're like, look at all these dead teddy bears.
Mounts of Elysium added, so many were irradiated by the crashing Death Star, the Ewoks may welcome the release of death.
That fits.
Dude, those Ewoks that were there, they got irradiated, and they grew up, got really fat and swole up. Their hair turned blue, and they became anyone who has a Twitter account.
Oh, you know, I mean, the timeline would fit with that one. I mean,
I know, right? Well, we know actually what happened. You see, there was actually one Ewok who had the Force, right? But his powers were so special that he had a bit extra. So he decided he shaved off his fur and he changed his face.
Speaking of nightmares,
One sec, hold on. And he shaved his face. And he went to work on a planet called Earth in a place called England. And he taught in school.
Oh, God.
Good God.
No. Back to the conversation here. All right. Anyways, so
I don't think that Naboo would have given, because from what we've heard and the few comics that we've seen, is Naboo were staunch loyalists to the Empire because she was from Naboo.
I think my thinking with Naboo is that I think the government would have, but remember because by that time there would still be a lot of the pilots probably who remembered what it was like under tyranny with the Trade Federation, with the camps and everything. So I think you would have gotten as many defectors taking the starfighters with them as they could.
Do any of you want because this has recently come out in Disney Channel. So you know the guy from episode 1 with the eye patch?
Yeah,
that was Captain Panaka's like cousin or nephew.
I forget
or
his name,
like
but yeah,
Captain Typho or something.
Typho,
like
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think
So-
it was Typho.
So he became, he joined the Empire, and somehow he discovered that Vader was Anakin, and he mysteriously died when his ship crashed.
Okay, to be honest, that was information that nobody actually needed to know.
Yeah, well, it's Disney.
Yeah, I mean, now, what Typho? Thank you. Yeah, Typho. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, thanks, Renee. So I don't know how much stock y'all put into Wikipedia. It
depends on what part of it you're in. A lot of the
Yeah.
quote unquote canon stuff is infected with Disney shit now.
Yeah. So
But
so it was like 5-6 years ago. I was just browsing on there and I looked at the Battle of Endor and they give all the various breakdowns. Well, according to Wikipedia, there were several Naboo starfighters at the Battle of Endor.
no, that doesn't even make any sense.
I mean,
Like, you
it
wouldn't
makes
see
a well.
They kind of fucking stand out.
Okay, but remember, we're talking the Naboo starfighter technically did not exist yet.
Well, yeah, it did. It was in episode 1.
Right,
Yeah.
but when the Battle of Endor was filmed, it did not
Dude,
exist yet.
that's
Oh,
like
well,
them
that's still-
that's like them retconning that Rex is the old man.
No, that's Disney that did that.
I know, but still it's stupid.
Oh, I know it's stupid.
It
I
just
know
doesn't
it is.
work. It just doesn't work.
I know it is.
Exactly.
There's a thing. There's a thing where Leia has a friend. Fuck, what is her name? I actually like the character design, and I've just forgotten her name.
Are you talking about the one with the purple hair?
Evan Verlaine. No, not that idiot. Evan Verlaine from
Making
the
sure.
comics. Fuck that bitch. I don't care about Holdo. No, Evan Verlaine was a rebellion pilot from why am I having from Alderaan? You know, same as
There we
Leia.
go.
Mhm.
there was talk that, and they got away with this because in the last scene, when I think it's the Death Star 2, when the fighters are flying away, you don't see who all's in them. You just see some fighters leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they said that Evan Verlaine was the one in the Y-Wing that survived from that initial squadron. You can get away with that because you never see who's in that damn bomber.
That's true, yeah.
Because you see the Y-Wing is there. It's never annotated who's in it. So it's a simple thing to go, oh, yeah, it was her. Okay,
Yeah.
not a real problem. But saying that Naboo starfighters would stand out like a fucking bright red fucking piece of paper on a black background, you're going to notice that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Excuse me, Favre, that's a background of color.
Fuck off.
Oh, God. Fuck you. But, because my theory is this, is that I think if the Rebellion had access to, say, even a half dozen of these, they would have used these to make raids all over Imperial space.
Well, you remember in Rebels, they caught that big-ass ship, right?
The Quasar.
Dude,
the
I
Quasar
didn't watch that shit.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but I'm talking to CSA.
Mm.
Yeah. Let me see if I can try and pull up a photo of that.
But yeah, they were using that to do. What happened to that ship? Was it destroyed?
It was when Thrawn attacked their base. The commander of the fleet used it to sacrifice himself to take out the interdictor cruiser because it was preventing them from jumping to hyperspace.
Okay.
If my memory serves me correct on that.
You don't have a memory.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm not
No,
really
that's me.
sure if there was much of a need for a carrier like this, though, because again, the whole doctrine that the rebels went with was FTL capable starfighters, so they could avoid having to use carriers for the most
Well,
part.
in Rebels, they specifically went after a carrier.
Well, Rebels was a canon violation from start to finish.
Let's not have that argument.
You already know I'm right. That's the problem. We've discussed this.
It's not that they didn't need carriers; it's just that they didn't need carriers they would bring into battle like that.
Yeah, so this is what he's talking about from Rebels.
That is ugly as fuck.
Yeah, it's so basically what it is these four massive hangars could hold up to like it was almost like 70, 80 TIE fighters if it was just the standard TIE fighters. And what they would do is they'd park this at a planet and it would cover the entire system. And you would only deploy one of these per system because it could cover a mass area and there'd be so many fighters swarming any vessels that came in that you didn't need any Star Destroyers or anything like that.
Out of everything that Disney has made so far, I think I'm the most okay with this. This actually kind of fits.
I have one bad comment for it, though.
Always.
What?
It looks like a paper airplane.
It does.
It looks like a paper airplane, like
No, you know
glued
what?
to a Dorito chip.
No, hold on. I'm just going to say this. For if our friend Katala is watching, we have just seen a picture of Starscream. Just saying.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Man.
no! I forbid
Stop
it.
Stop bringing up Dorito.
I'm gonna put you in timeout if you say that again.
But as I was saying, CSA, can you go back to it for me? In Rebels, this was not used as much of a carrier because although in all of those windows were people in medical stretchers.
So go ahead.
Yeah, because as far as I remember, they mainly used that as a personnel carrier to get people away.
In that evacuation, but they actually did use this as an actual carrier because that way they had all their fighters at one location.
Yeah.
Not like spread out over like a few here, a few there. They had one place where they could deploy large amounts of fighters at will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, it's just a theory, and I know the Rebel Doctrine wasn't very supporting of this, but again, the only the only hyperdrive capable fighter that the Rebel Alliance had up until the iteration of the B-wing that could do enough damage on a raid was the Y-wing.
Mhm.
And we know they had a very finite amount of those because those were no longer being built.
I'm
Right.
going to tell you something that I've always wanted to see. I wanted to see a Mon Calamari ship rise up from the ocean.
That wouldn't work though. They're not designed for that.
Yes, Mon Calamari ships were always stated to be that they used to be cities.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. It rising from the ocean, once they made it into a ship, that wouldn't work. You'd destroy it.
Then how did it get from the ocean into space?
Because it was it had to be suspended above the water to build it. The way those engines work, the water would flood it and it would never work anymore.
I was going to say, didn't Mon Cal have space-based
Yes.
platforms for
they did.
construction?
Weren't they known, I think, for their construction of
They
starships?
lived in the water, but the dry docks were literally dry docks.
Yeah, because I know what Revan's talking about. Supposedly, and I don't know if this is canon or not, but supposedly the Mon Cal ships that we saw were part of their cities that were partially above water and partially below.
Yeah, I'm not saying they didn't salvage parts of their cities to support the war effort. I'm just saying they didn't build them in the water.
Right. No, but I'm telling you, that's what the supposed theory is that those were actual ships.
Mm-hmm.
That when they did the great evacuation, all those ships lifted off, and then while in space, they retrofitted them into like battleships.
The only way you could have done that is if the drive system and the engines and shit were above the water.
And if you were doing, and if you did that, the Empire would have been on your ass in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I never paid that theory much credence because it never made any sense to me.
Maybe it's a rebel theory that the Mon Calamari just never answered where they got their ships.
I mean, maybe it could have literally just been something that passed among the rebellion, and the Mon Cal didn't bother correcting anybody.
Because they thought it was funny.
I don't know. There's certain things in Star Wars I hate that they try and give explanation for when there really is no need for it. Like, leave a little bit of mystery. Like, how'd the Mon Calamari get their ships? Well, maybe they had a secret shipyard somewhere because they knew, okay, the Empire's rising to power.
I mean, why the fuck not? The Empire did.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing I hate about especially since Disney has taken over. And this isn't a bitch fest, by the way, but this is just the problem I have with a lot of Star Wars ship canon is it doesn't make sense. It contradicts itself, which pisses me the hell off because I'm a Starship guy. I mean, Favre, Revan, Katala, they can all attest. I talk the shit out of Starships.
Definitely a ship, dude.
Yeah. We all have a bit of that going on, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's kind of just my theory. The various ships. Here's one more. I think.
God, the Tri-Fighter.
That ship looks.
That thing is ugly.
It's ugly
Yes,
as all
they really
fuck.
are.
But honestly, I would have loved to seen this and a TIE Interceptor go at it.
Well, here's the
from-
thing. Those
That
are
was the
supposedly one of the better ships in the CIW fleet as far as fighters.
That
go,
was
the
that was the
Tri-Fighters.
one from what I've read that Republic pilots feared because it was so maneuverable, and those let me pull it back up. These 3 lasers on the outside, they were linked and they had an incredible rate of fire. So even if you were shielded,
It was basically like getting shot at by a set of 3 turbo lasers.
essentially, and then you had this
And
heavy
the
laser
onboard
in the center.
droid and the onboard droid brain was supposed to be better than the one in the Vultures and the Hyena droids.
Mm-hmm. So this was the feared one amongst the Republic. I'd love to see that against the TIE Interceptor. I'm just saying that would be an interesting fight. I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
the theorist in me. So, but yeah, so that's just kind of like various, fighters I think that the Rebel Alliance could have used,
Really
whatnot.
cool.
So, anybody got any thoughts?
I had what little I had to say early on.
I've said my piece.
Max.
Nope.
All right, Zebulon. Anything?
Like I said, I'm just going to stick with them getting a whole bunch of stuff from Mandel Motors. It's established they had it. And
Hey, I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I love to theorize shit, so I figured, what the hell? Why not theorize a little bit? So,
Mhm.
but so everyone, and everyone who's watching, I want to thank you for being here. It's a shorter stream, but I'm going on 3 hours of sleep right now, so I can't do like an hour and a half of long stream. I can't. So
let's go for a 5-hour stream.
Fuck you.
No.
So, but if you liked what you saw here, hit the like button, subscribe to it. At least once a week, I'm going to be doing a live stream on something sci-fi, maybe a little Lord of the Rings once in a while, but primarily sci-fi related.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon, if something so monumental political happens, there will be a political stream, but that's a rarity.
Stream over on Potato Revan.
Yeah, and I also work with Revan on his stream too. So,
Exactly. I mean, I have to have a lackey.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But
If you want to
everyone,
do stuff on Lord of the Rings, I'm around for that too.
yeah. So
Eventually, when I've made some more progress and I'm getting ready to start taking care of some of the publishing shit, I may come around to talk about my book. But I got to finish the last few chapters first.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to end the stream here? Oh, fuck you.
yes, and everyone just remember that CSA is just this.
Rebel scum.
Boy.
That's right. I'm Rebel Scum, down with the Empire. So, anyways, I want to thank Max. I want to thank Farv. If you haven't checked out Farvithian Guard yet, that's Farv's gaming channel. He does a lot of retro-esque style games. Some are older, some are newer, but they have that little bit of a retro kind of feel to them. If you like just fun, entertaining streams, go check out Farvithian Guard. Make sure you like and subscribe his videos and his channel. Entertainment for hours. I'm telling you. Do a playlist of his streams. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, that's it. I playlisted a bunch of them already.
Make sure none of your kids are in the room.
Better learn some colorful new phrases.
Exactly.
And I'm sure y'all know who Potato Revan is, but in case you don't, Revan, why don't you just do a quick little plug of yourself?
Hey, I'm Potato Revan. So I basically started up a YouTube channel where we're mainly doing streams and things like that based around like nerdy topics and movie reviews whenever we decide to actually see a movie. Because apparently there's a pandemic, so there's no movies out, so we're not doing any movie reviews.
Well, if movies did come out weren't trash, it would help.
That would
also help as well. So most of you already know me because most of you are my subs. But yeah, so we stream, we do Jackbox every now and then. We do we've got 2 series going at the moment. The main series on our topics during the week is called Let's Talk, where we've done 2 of them so far. Let's Talk Star Trek and Let's Talk Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to expand that into Let's Talk Transformers, Let's Talk Pokemon, Let's Talk Transformers will be fun with Katala.
You act like I'm not as bad as she is. It's usually her and I that get that shit
Seriously,
going.
have you not?
I am scared. I am scared. Then we're going to do Let's Talk Lord of the Rings, Let's Talk Stargate and things like that. So yeah, and then starting next year, we've got something special planned. And starting next summer, I'm going to be doing character-esque type videos, where I'm learning OBS. I'm going to be learning Adobe. I'm going to be learning all this editing software. So we should start putting out proper content, proper videos next year.
Now within that, I don't know what the space will be. For anybody looking at my channel, it's a similar situation with us. My brother wants to do the editing, but we got to get some shit put together to actually handle doing proper quote unquote video.
So so next June, we're a little network where we're nicknaming Streamed Baked Potatoes. Maxis is planning on getting some set up for herself eventually. Then there's Katala Laris. If any of you watching are interested in Guild Wars 2, Katala's basically a walking, talking encyclopedia on Guild Wars. Her streams are all Guild Wars based, but if you listen to them, they're a great bunch of people. They're a hilarious laugh. They once went on talking for 3 hours about Transformers and forgot that there was even a live stream on.
We were
I
just
remember
fucking
that.
off in the Capitol at the end of the video for like an hour.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
like I literally came in and I'm like, wait, this stream is still going, because they were literally, Katala was just standing there playing with a Transformer whilst Farv was talking to her. They forgot they were streaming.
Yeah. It was entertaining. So, so check out Katala. It's Katala Laris, right, Revan?
Yep, it's
Yes.
just all
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look,
lowercase letters, I think.
Yeah, I think it's all lowercase.
All these links will be in the pinned comment tomorrow, because CSA is still learning the ropes. So I'm going tomorrow when I have better internet. After his live stream is done rendering, I will teach him how to do the tags, how to do all stuff like that. So yeah, he's getting good at it. He's getting his confidence built, and so way to go, CSA. And apparently he's got friends as in plural. That's news to me.
Boy.
Well, I don't think we need to hear any more about that right now. So, Zebulon, you want to plug yourself?
I mean, if you guys really want to make it a meme to get me a bunch of subscribers, given that I have no content, that'd be hysterical.
I mean, hey, I mean, if you're planning on doing content, I mean,
Dude, trust me. By the time I'm getting ready to actually do the self-publishing shit, I'm gonna have to plug that shit on these. So
yeah, we'll do a live stream for you.
I might do content someday, but right now I'm just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Farv, we'll do like a special plug for it. It's like, hi, for every book that you buy, Farv gets to live another day.
that's a little ridiculous. I don't need
That's
anything.
okay. Yeah, we're not having any, fucking M. Night Shyamalan kind of
Good
shit
fucking
here.
God.
Okay, so
The twist is that Maxis is Farv's father.
I don't know
And
if it would
on-
be physically possible.
It's not.
yeah, it's not. And on that very weird note, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank everybody for listening. Like I said, if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, please do. Really helps me out, helps me grow the channel. I'm a newcomer, but I enjoy doing this, so it would really help me out, and I'd be really appreciative of it. So on behalf of our my guests, Maxis, Farv, Zebulon, and Revan, I want to thank you all for being here. Have an amazing day, and peace.
Bye.
Later.
Bless.